All right, so we got here on the bench a broken motorcycle case. This is off of this bike right here. It's a 2010 Husqvarna TXC 250. Unlike what the seller told me that it was a 2013 TE 250. So I don't think he was trying to rip me off or anything like that, because this bike was super cheap anyway, but I just don't think he knew. But he says he had it for a couple months, put 5 hours on it, and it threw a rod pretty dramatically. So literally poked a hole in the front of the case there, cracked this part of the case. I think the crank bearings seized up, failed on it, locked the piston, but I actually luckily found a brand new case, both sides, brand spanking new in the box, for a really good deal, like super cheap. So I got this bike with a bad engine for $200. Pretty freaking sweet. It's not in bad shape at all. Forks, they need new seals. At least the left side does, so both of them will get new seals. This particular model comes with electric start and even has a radiator fan. How about that? So pretty cool. Decent tires on it. Hydraulic clutch right there. There's the sexy 690. But yeah, so this is what I'm working on. Obviously I'm working on this, but waiting for a flywheel puller so I can get the flywheel off and get this crank out of there, and it will be a nice paperweight. Transmission somehow survived this annihilation. Obviously your transmission goes right here, and even busted a piece of metal right there, but not even a mark on the transmission. I still got super lucky there. You can just see all the damage that this thing did when it blew up. But anyways, that's not really what this is about. So this is what this is about. What I'm doing here, this is the cylinder head off that Husqvarna, which if this cylinder head had been damaged, I would have just pieced out the bike. But luckily, we got lucky, and the piston didn't come up and hit the cylinder. Instead, it just got wedged in the jug and destroyed the jug, but that's fine. But when I took this apart, I noticed this, and I put this helicoil in here just now, and basically it's just the valve cover. It's just for the valve cover screw. Whoops. Come on, man. Get out of there. So it's for the valve cover. It's one of the screws. They must have over torqued. Well, they not must have. They did over torque it, because even this lip was there was a mark on the cylinder head from this lip. So way over torqued. Crack that out. Kind of annoying. And then also the oil pump, one of the mounting bolt holes, it was broken. The bolt was like bent. I have no idea how the heck that happened. My guess is just not following torque specs, but both of these I think can be salvaged, especially this one, because there's no threads inside here. So it's just the bolt goes right through, threads into the block, and I just can I'm thinking I'm just gonna epoxy this little piece because the piece was still in the engine with it. So the same thing with this. So what I had to do is the threads were all stripped out on this, and when I took the engine apart, that piece was sitting there just cracked like that. And then there's a retainer clip here for this timing belt gear, and it was just the valve cover bolt goes through this and then screws into there. So this retaining clip was just holding it there. I don't know how, well, actually no, I do. They over torqued it, that's why that broke off. Who knows how long it was like that. But, so what I ended up doing is I used a vise, some vice grips, clamped this piece back on, then did the helicoil. And honestly, I think really it would probably be fine if I just left it like this. But I'm thinking I'm gonna JB weld this piece back on. And I think that'll be fine because the bolt's not threading directly to this. It's threading into the helicoil, so I don't think it'll be an issue. And even if it does come loose, that retaining clip will hold it in place. So that's what I'm doing right now. Let's see if we can't mix up some JB weld here, and I'll show you. Obviously, super simple. We'll do a little one part of this. Do enough for both the oil pump and the cylinder head. And, whew, stuff stinks. There we go. Roughly, looks pretty good. Take a little toothpick, little plastic here, and just start mixing them together. I like using these little toothpicks, one, because I'm always flossing, and two, because they're convenient, because they're nice and pointy, so you can really be precise about where you put it. Makes less of a mess. So I just mix this up real good, get the two parts good. I'm honestly really not too concerned about this. At first I was gonna just go ahead and JB weld the piece back on and then helicoil it. But I was like, you know what, I don't know if it'll really be strong enough that way. So we did the helicoil, and then this, and I did degrease it really well. So, and let's see, I think this JB weld will adhere really good because that helicoil is already in there. That's my thoughts anyway. But I don't know. I'm just a DIYer, so this is not advice. I don't advise you do this. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. Okay, so now I expect when I clamp this on, I expect the JB weld to squeeze through the helicoil, and it would make a mess in there. So what I'm gonna do, here we go, we got some mold release for like fiberglass work on a boat or something. So I'm gonna go ahead, I just dipped it in there just to get the threads covered in it. You want an excessive amount. And then go ahead, thread this in. And I'm gonna go ahead and clamp that other little piece on right here. This is gonna make a mess, that's fine. There we go. That's kind of what I figured was gonna happen too, is that that epoxy was going to go inside the helicoil threads, and it did, which I think that's a good thing. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and thread this in. Just going to thread this all the way in. I got the mold release on it. There we go. I'm going to get crazy with it. There. All the way in there. Go ahead and clean this up here. Get rid of that extra mold release. Man, I think that turned out pretty slick. Just want to make sure there's any extra JB weld on that mating surface for the cam is gone. There we go. How about that? So now I'm just gonna let it cure with the bolt in there. Should it make a difference? Because I put that mold release on there, so it shouldn't adhere to the bolt. Okay, so last little thing here, while I got this JB weld here. Oop, there we go, you can see that. Like I said, I'm not really that concerned about this. Because this is, I was just going to have a bolt go through that. So, let's see, stick that bad boy on there. And make it nice and pretty. I wanted to make this video because, man, I was searching for all over the place, like how you can fix a thread, mostly for the cylinder head, that has blown out, and I couldn't find anything. And I talked to some, brought it to a machine shop, and they're like, oh, it's trash, gotta get rid of it. It's like, no. Worst case scenario, you could just RTV it or something. Make sure there's none in there. I just kind of ran that rag through the hole. And just clean up any excess here. Man, I think this turned out good, actually. Just being gentle with it, and there we go, check that. I think that'll be fine, and honestly, even if it, I think that'll hold up nicely. So, yeah, here we go. That's what we got to work with here. I got really good, I'm really confident that this is going to hold really well. Better than if I would have epoxied that piece back on and then tried to helicoil it. I don't think it would have held up. I don't think this epoxy really holds up well to that type of, that outward stress like that, trying to torque something down and pushing out on it. But anyway, that's my repair for this valve cover bolt hole that was jacked up. Besides that, the freaking head's in great condition. both had the, obviously the engine case themselves, those are trashed, but the this for the clutch cover, it's in good shape. I got no issues with that. And we got a crank, brand new crank coming in. Just looking around for a jug. The jugs are just way overpriced. I just can't believe it. And get a used one for like $300. Just outrageous. Yeah, I wish there was a way to repair this one, but it's got a monster crack in it. So, the piston was in here crooked. But what are you gonna do? It's a $200 bike, but I think it can be a pretty sweet running machine. Not as nice as this sexy mofo, but I'm debating on if I'm gonna keep this bike or not. We'll see how it rides. But I'd like to have just like a dedicated trail bike. I mean, I run this one on the trail too, but it just makes me sad when I end up going down with it. You know, doing stuff I shouldn't be doing. If I drop this one, I don't really care. I'll probably have $1,500 into this bike, you know, by the time it gets running again. And that's a sweet deal for a electric start 250. Hell yeah. Well, anyways, that's I don't know what I'm gonna title this video, but that's my repair job for this thing. If it totally fails, once it cures, I'll kind of torque it down to spec, and we'll see if it holds up. I have no doubt in my mind that it will, but anyway, see ya.